Hello and greetings from Iceland. Eruption number 12 turned out to be better for tourists than we expected at first. So many of our guests have had the chance to see a live volcano and listen to it. So this video will include some tourist tips and of course general information as usual, although it looks as this eruption might be soon over. And this clip is a bit symbolic for my travels lately because this is an Icelandic highway and a little obstacle because as I mentioned in my last update, while I was editing it, I got a message from the shop. My car was ready, which made me very glad because I wanted to visit the volcano, of course. After the most stubborn car part replacement that I've ever gone through in my life. So it was a happy moment to load up the car with all my stuff and to take off to highway number 1. And my Land Cruiser had never cruised so well during my ownership because it had also new ball joints and steering parts. So life was wonderful the first 30 kilometers until the new turbine went on strike in what we call safe mode because it wasn't adjusted properly. And to find someone who knows about those things in this town is not easy. And my mechanic, he looks as he's about to get a heart attack every time he sees me. So this time he left me with a phone number that belongs to another mechanic. But he turned out to be intoxicated on a beach in some foreign country. And it's going to take me a week more to get this fixed. So I decided to keep my Arctic cool and cover the eruption anyway with some useful information rather than to be stuck in some frustration. So today I'm starting with some basic information that volcano tourists should know about. We have one crater left and it's still maintaining a little show, but it looks as this is coming to an end. And my guess is in a few days, although this could just as well end today. And the nights are getting dark again here in the north, so it might be a good idea to use the time to see the volcano during nighttime. And it has so far come up with 27 million cubic meters of lava. That covers about 3.3 square kilometers. And the average flow rate has been around 12 cubic meters per second the last 5 days, which is not much, so the lava isn't spreading a lot now. And sulfur dioxide emissions are ranging from 25 to 44 kilos per second, which is a significant decrease. So this looks better as for air pollution that we expect to be gone with the wind soon. So this weekend might actually be good for volcano sightseeing. So let's check out the map. And this one includes all the lava layers from 2021. How they overlap each other, and it is possible to get fairly close to the volcano this time, and there is a volcano car park that was put in use in 2021, and from there is actually a road for the hikers, but no vehicles, only for search and rescue workers, and actually a few tourist companies. So the hiking tour up there is like 10 or 12 kilometers back and forth, depending on where you park. And the distance from the main viewpoint to the crater is around 1.5 kilometers, which is excellent for drones and fairly good for zoom lenses. And the drone pilot tip of the day is another location. It's here, and it's just a little detour from the main highway to the Blue Lagoon and Grindavík. But you can only access that road while you are heading north away from the Blue Lagoon, since there is a wire there that separates the lanes. And the viewpoint is actually on a hill, which is an old crater actually, and the drone trip to the crater is around 3 kilometers, which is no problem at all for most drones. And that location is actually excellent for other flights around there. Like we are as close as we can to the most active part of the Sundhnúkar craters, the part that came up with a big part of the lava that caused some of our worst problems. down by the power plant and Blue Lagoon, and this is how the craters looked after the first 3 eruptions. The land has not been totally covered with new lava, but when I swapped to what I was filming in April, the landscape had developed into this. And the last remaining crater that is active now is just around here. So what I've been doing the last 2 days is sorting out some of the footage I have from there, or the shots that will become the before and after shots for an image blending project where the landscape changes will be documented. And that changes will of course be a part of a documentary someday. But my main problem is that I have so much footage already that this takes time, and it's close to 10 locations that will be subject of before-after image blending. But when will the time be right to do the last shots? The shots that I haven't filmed yet, and will line up with some of my first shots around there. And that answer might be underway since, surprisingly, no ground uplift has been detected recently. There was a little ground uplift shortly after the bulk of the magma erupted, but almost no movements since then. And this is new information from Professor Þorvaldur Þórðarson. He has been predicting the end of this chapter for some time now, so he might be right, or the instruments might be wrong, like the other day. And I don't see a reason to celebrate just yet. It has taken lots of energy from me to watch this unfold, with disasters hanging over us again and again. And the main question always, will the town survive? But this looks better now, and the next weeks will be extremely interesting as for the data. It is, however, a good reason to be on the lookout for the so-called Krýsuvík volcanic system, as the unrest by Lake Kleifarvatn is constantly growing. And one of the possible scenarios is a shift between systems. Like experts predicted when they started, the activity will move between volcanic systems. And personally, I always expected the Krýsuvík system to be the first to erupt, judging from seismic activity the last decades. But I have also a question that keeps on popping up. Could it be that the events by Svartsengi and on the mountain Varadalsfjall and the Krýsuvík system are originating from one system, but not 3 as they are defined today? So that is a topic that I'm going to dive into when this is over, since it's too early to go into that now. And as for my plans, I almost bought a cheap car to use the next week, but to get rid of it again and such, that would be another problem, and I actually have many hours of the orange stuff on my hard drives already. And as for the landscape changes that are even a more important part of my work, it's better to film them when the smoke clears, free from tourist drone traffic, and my main tasks for this summer were, and still are, to film the major volcanic systems, the hard-to-film systems. And it was also never an option for me to do any serious filming on the highlands with a cloud of pollution all around. And in fact, the best time for filming in Iceland is between September 15th and October 15th. As for light, the highland roads will, however, start to close in early September, so I will be under lots of pressure in August. And August is actually a good time to go filming. And finally, as for tourists in Iceland, if you didn't get the chance to see the actual eruption, I still recommend a tour to Grindavík to see what the forces of nature did to that village and the struggle to get back to normal life. Grindavík is a good place to go visit to reflect on those huge events and help the local companies to survive through this. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.